The 7 most powerful mythological gods: history, myths, and secrets. Since the beginning of time, people have sought answers to the great questions of existence. Who rules the world? What lies beyond the boundaries of mortal life? Where is the source of the power that creates and destroys worlds? In search of answers, humanity has created pantheons of gods, powerful beings whose will determine the fate of people and even reality itself. Every culture gives birth to its heroes, monsters, and gods, but among them, there are those who rise above all. Their names sound like thunder, their wrath destroys entire civilizations, and their mercy gives life and prosperity. They are the rulers of the heavens, the underworld, and the elements, those whose power is not subject even to time. But which of the gods was the most powerful? The Egyptian Ra, whose eye sees everything? The Scandinavian Odin, who learned the secrets of the universe? Or perhaps the Hindu Shiva, whose dance destroys the universe? Today we will travel through myths and legends to uncover the secrets of the 7 most powerful gods in human history. Their power extends beyond myths. Their images still live on in culture, religion, art, and even in our thoughts. Are they creators or destroyers? Lords of the elements or spirits of ancient power? And most importantly, what legacy did they leave behind? Ready to take a look at a world where myths and reality intersect? Let's get started. 7. Anu, Sumerian mythology, Lord of Heaven and Destiny. Where does the power of the gods begin? In the most ancient of the pantheons known to mankind, the Sumerian, there is no one higher than Anu, the god of the sky, the arbiter of destinies and the ruler of the highest order of the universe. His name literally means sky, but his influence extended far beyond the stars. He is the source of power of all the gods, the keeper of the cosmic law, and the supreme judge, whose decisions were immutable, even for other deities. The Sumerians believed that it was Anu who gave the gods their power, and the kings their right to rule. His presence was not felt directly among people, like that of other gods, but every ruler, every law, and every event were under his invisible supervision. Anu's greatness was so inviolable that he rarely interfered in the affairs of mortals. His will was manifested through the gods of a lower order to whom he delegated his functions. But even among the gods, Anu was a judge whom no one could challenge. One of the most famous myths is about his own son, Enki, going against the cosmic order. Enki, the god of water, magic, and wisdom, decided to change the fate of humanity by giving people knowledge that they were not supposed to have. He taught them crafts, science, writing, and even gave them the ability to predict the future. This was a challenge to the very foundations of the universe, because the fate of mortals was sealed at their creation. They were supposed to serve the gods and not strive for independence. When Anu learned of this, his decision was unbending. He called a meeting of the gods and passed a harsh sentence. Some versions of the myth say that it was after this that Enki lost part of his power, and humanity was punished with a great flood, which was supposed to destroy the daring mortals. Other versions say that Anu simply limited the knowledge transmitted to people, but this act itself became the first conflict between the gods and their creation. Anu's image was not similar to the menacing or emotional gods of other pantheons. He did not incinerate with lightning, did not fight, and did not arrange divine intrigues. His power was quiet, but absolute. He was not a ruler in the usual sense, but the embodiment of the very principle of power and law, the arbiter of destinies whose word was not subject to discussion. But if Anu was so powerful, why did his cult fade away over time? Perhaps precisely because he did not interfere in human affairs directly. His place was eventually taken by more active deities, such as Enlil and Marduk, who could appear to people and interact with them. But even after other gods took his throne, his name did not disappear. Anu's influence can be seen in later myths, where the supreme god is always associated with the heavens, law, and fate, be it Zeus, Jupiter, or even the Christian god the Father. Anu is therefore not just one of the gods of the Sumerian pantheon. He is the prototype of the very concept of divine rule, the one with whom the history of supreme gods in all mythologies of the world began. Number 6. Odin, Scandinavian mythology, god of war and wisdom. Among the gods whose power extended over the entire world, Odin stands apart. He is not just the ruler of Asgard, he is a seeker of knowledge, a master of battle, a creator of runes, and the one who sees the end of everything, but cannot change it. His images in myths are multifaceted. He can be a wise old man wandering the world in search of truth, or a ruthless warrior leading his chosen ones into the final battle. Odin is not just a god, he is a self-sacrificing one for knowledge, one who is ready to give everything to get closer to the truth. He gave his eye to drink from the source of wisdom, but this was not enough. In order to master the magic of the runes, he hanged himself on the world tree Yggdrasil, the tree connecting the 9 worlds, piercing himself with a spear. He spent 9 days and 9 nights between life and death, learning the secrets of the universe, until the runes revealed their secrets to him. This sacrifice changed him forever. He became the god of knowledge, but also the god of deception, possessing the secrets of magic that he shares with no one. His wisdom makes him a great strategist, but also a figure shrouded in darkness. He does not simply command warriors, he chooses their death, sending the best to Valhalla, where they prepare for the final battle. But what makes Odin a truly tragic character is his knowledge of the inevitability of Ragnarok. He saw that the day would come when the gods would fall, the world would be destroyed, and Asgard would be burned by the fire of Surtur. He knew that he himself would be killed by Fenrir, the monstrous wolf that the Aesir themselves had once bound. He knew that no magic, no power, no trick could stop fate, and yet he did not stop fighting. He gathered warriors in Valhalla, formed alliances, sought knowledge, subjugated even the most dangerous creatures, hoping that somewhere in the runes, somewhere in the ancient prophecies, there would be a way to prevent the end. But there was no answer. Odin is the god who sees the future but cannot change it. He is the symbol of the warrior who goes into the final battle, knowing that he is doomed, but fights anyway. This makes him not just the supreme god, but the embodiment of the very essence of fate and inevitability, the image of a leader who knows that his world is doomed but continues to move forward. Even after Ragnarok, his legacy does not disappear. The world will be reborn, but without him. His son Balder will return from the underworld, and a new era will begin without the old gods. But the name of Odin will never be forgotten, because he is not only the ruler of the gods, but also the personification of sacrifice, power, and the eternal struggle with time. Number 5. Zeus, ancient Greek mythology, Lord of Olympus. When lightning flashes across the sky and the earth shakes from the claps of thunder, the ancient Greeks knew that this was a sign of the presence of Zeus, the king of the gods, ruler of the sky and master of Olympus. He is not just the supreme deity, he is a symbol of power, law, and inexorable justice. Everyone, from mortal kings to the Olympian gods, bowed before his might, because no one could resist his fury. But Zeus's path to power was not easy. He was born during the reign of the Titans, when his father Kronos ruled the world. According to prophecy, one of Kronos' sons was to overthrow him, so the cruel ruler devoured his own children, not giving them a chance to grow up. But Zeus's mother, the goddess Rhea, hid the baby and gave Kronos a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes instead. Thus Zeus was secretly raised on the island of Crete, hidden from his father's wrath. When he came of age, it was time for revenge. With the help of the goddess Metis, he mixed a potion into his father's blood, forcing him to vomit up his swallowed siblings, Poseidon, Hades, Hestia, Demeter, and Hera. But that was not enough. Zeus had to overthrow Kronos and the Titans, who had ruled the world since time immemorial. The Titanomachy began, a war between the gods and the Titans that shook the entire universe. In the battle for power, Zeus freed the Cyclopes and the 100-armed giants, the Hecatoncheires, whom Kronos had imprisoned in the depths of Tartarus. In gratitude, the Cyclopes gave him his main weapon, lightning, with which he knew no equal. A great battle broke out. The Titans brought down mountains, wiped lands from the face of the world, but Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades fought them tirelessly. In the end, Zeus cast Kronos into the abyss of Tartarus and chained the Titans in the underworld. After defeating the Titans, Zeus divided the world with his brothers. Poseidon got power over the seas, Hades got the kingdom of the dead, and Zeus ascended the throne of Olympus, becoming the supreme ruler of heaven and earth. He ruled the world, punishing traitors and rewarding the worthy, establishing laws and order among mortals and gods. But even among the deities, his power was not unconditional. Zeus had to suppress conspiracies against himself more than once. One of the most famous cases is the rebellion of Hera, Poseidon and Athena, who tried to overthrow him, considering him too despotic a ruler. They chained Zeus, but his devoted servant Thetis managed to free him, and the ruler of Olympus cruelly punished the rebels. Zeus was unpredictable and powerful. He could bring down his wrath on anyone, but at the same time he watched over the balance in the world. He was feared, but also revered as a defender of order. He not only punished, but also protected, patronized wanderers, kept oaths, helped heroes. It was he who watched over the fate of great warriors such as Hercules, Odysseus, and Perseus, gifting them with his strength and trials. But despite his absolute power, even Zeus could not defeat fate. Like his father Kronos, he knew the prophecy that one day his power would be overthrown by one of his children. This knowledge haunted him, making him fearful of further betrayals. Zeus is the personification of power and law, but also a god whose strength rests on the fear of the inevitable. He defeated the Titans, but he himself became a hostage to the prophecies that followed him like a shadow. His lightning bolts split the heavens, but even their power could not change the fact that one day his kingdom would fall, as the reigns of Uranus and Kronos had fallen before. But until that day came, he remained the king of the gods, the arbiter of fates, and the one who held Olympus in his power. Number 4. Shiva, Hindu mythology, destroyer and creator. In the endless dance of the universe, where life replaces death and chaos turns into order, there is a force that unites everything. Shiva, the destroyer and creator, a god who stands beyond time. In Hindu mythology, he is one of the main deities of the Trimurti, the trinity of supreme gods, along with Brahma, the creator, and Vishnu, the keeper. However, his role is much deeper than just destruction. He not only destroys, but also creates, cleansing the universe of the obsolete and preparing a place for the new. Shiva is a paradox, a god who unites opposites. He is a hermit, but also the king of dance, terrifying, but merciful, destroying, but giving new life. His image is multifaceted. He sits in deep meditation on Kailash, with mossy hair from which the sacred river Ganga flows, but at the same moment he can become Natarja, the deity of cosmic dance, whose movement pulsates in the very rhythm of the universe. But his main power is hidden in the third eye. According to myths, this eye, located on his forehead, is able to destroy everything with just one look. It is said that when the goddess Parvati, his wife, playfully closed his two ordinary eyes, the universe plunged into darkness. Then the third eye flared up from his forehead, incinerating everything in its path. This fire is not just destruction, but divine energy, cleansing the universe of illusions and ignorance. But Shiva shows his power not only in fire, but also in movement. In his great dance Tandava, he rhythmically destroys the old world to create a new one. His movements are the pulsation of time, the birth and death of worlds, the rhythm of the cosmos itself, where there is no stopping. This dance symbolizes the eternal cycle of samsara, where death is only a transition to a new life, and destruction is the path to renewal. But what makes Shiva so unique among the gods? He is not attached to power, does not strive for domination. He is free from earthly and heavenly limitations. He does not need a throne. His power does not require an army. He is a force that existed long before the gods and will remain when the universe disappears. That is why yogis and ascetics revere him, because he is a symbol of complete control over the body, mind, and energy. He is the one who transcends the illusion of the material world, plunging into the depths of his consciousness. But if the world loses balance, if evil goes beyond the permissible, he comes out of meditation, and then the universe shakes in fear of his rage. Shiva is not just destruction, he is transformation. It reminds us that nothing lasts forever except change, and that in every end there is a beginning. This is its true power. It not only destroys worlds, but also gives them new life, creating space for new possibilities, new destinies, a new universe. Number 3. Ra, ancient Egyptian mythology, god of the sun and creator of the world. Ra is the god with whom life began. The greatest deity of ancient Egypt, the Lord of Light, the creator of gods and people, he rises to the sky every morning to give the world warmth and life, and at night he goes to the kingdom of the dead, entering into an eternal battle with the forces of darkness. He is not just the god of the sun. He is the sun itself, the personification of cosmic order that holds back chaos and destruction. The great creator, he appeared from the primordial ocean of none and gave birth to the gods themselves, creating the first lands and sky. The ancient Egyptians believed that without Ra, nothing would exist. His light fills the world, and his power nourishes all living things. Every day he rises in his heavenly ship, illuminating the earth and watching over people. But his power is not unlimited, because every night he faces eternal enemy, Apop, the monstrous serpent of chaos. When the sun sets, Ra descends into the underworld, Duat, where trials await him. Apop, the embodiment of primordial darkness, tries to absorb the sun every evening, turning the world into eternal night. Their battle takes place outside of time. It is an eternal cycle, repeating itself over and over again. But Ra is not just a warrior, he is a strategist and a sage. His ship, the Mescatet, carries with him the gods who help him in battle. Set, the god of war, pierces Apop with a spear. Thoth, the god of wisdom, reads magic spells, and Isis, the great mother, grants her protection. Ra always emerges victorious, but his victory is temporary. The next day, Apop will rise again, and the struggle will begin again. But Ra does not only fight the forces of darkness, he controls fate. It is he who grants power to the pharaohs, who are considered his earthly incarnations. Egyptian rulers called themselves sons of Ra, and their mission was the same as that of the sun god, to contain chaos and maintain order on earth. But even the greatest god was not eternal. Over time, people began to forget his true power. In later eras, his cult began to weaken, and Ra's place in the pantheon was taken by other deities, primarily Osiris and Amun. However, his light did not fade, and even when his cult mixed with other beliefs, the name Ra remained forever associated with the sun, power, and creation. Ra is not just a god. He is the eternal movement of time, the endless struggle between light and darkness, the order that holds back chaos. He will always rise, and he will always fight, because that is how the world works. Without him, there would be no beginning, no end, no life itself. Number 2. Quetzalcoatl, Aztec mythology, god of wind and civilization. Among the deities of ancient America, Quetzalcoatl occupies a special place. His name means feathered serpent, and his image unites two elements, heaven and earth, wind and wisdom, magic and civilization. He was not just a god, but a cultural hero, the creator of humanity, the patron of knowledge, arts and science. Without him, the world would not be the same as we know it. But his story is not only a tale of greatness, but also a legend of betrayal, exile, and a promise to return. Quetzalcoatl was considered the one who gave people everything. He taught them to sow corn, build temples, create works of art, comprehend writing and astronomy. He was the god of the wind blowing from the sky, but also the one who connected the gods with people, making humanity worthy of higher knowledge. He confronted the cruel deities of war and blood, striving to give people peace and prosperity, not chaos and fear. But his fate was tragic. One of the myths tells that he became a victim of deception. Dark forces, personified by the god Tezcatlipoca, decided to destroy Quetzalcoatl and lured him into a trap, making him disgrace himself in front of his people. Struck by shame, he left, moving overseas, but before that, he made a promise. He would return. It was this prophecy that became one of the reasons for the fall of the Aztec Empire. When the Spanish conquistadors arrived in Mexico in 1519, many Aztecs mistook them for messengers of Quetzalcoatl. They believed that the great god had returned to fulfill the ancient prophecy. Hernán Cortés, who led the Spaniards, turned out to be similar to the descriptions of the white-skinned, bearded god who was supposed to appear from the east. This played a fatal role in history. The Aztecs did not immediately understand that they were not a deity, but conquerors, and while they hesitated, the Spaniards began their bloody campaign that led to the fall of Tenochtitlan. But if Quetzalcoatl was the god of civilization, why did he leave his people? Perhaps his myth is not just a tale of a god, but a story of change, of the cycles of time and the inevitability of the end. He disappeared, to be reborn one day, like the wind that always returns, and perhaps his image still lives on in cultures that continue to remember him. Quetzalcoatl is not just a god, he is a symbol of progress, knowledge, and change. He came to teach people, to leave a mark on their culture and then disappear to make way for a new era. His name continues to be spoken, his symbolism can be found in architecture and art, and his prophecy of return still raises questions. Will Quetzalcoatl return? Or perhaps he never left, remaining in the hearts of those who believe in wisdom and the power of knowledge. Number 1. Ahura Mazda, Zoroastrian mythology, the creator of all things, light and darkness, good and evil. The eternal struggle of two opposites determining not only the destinies of people, but also the very existence of the universe. At the center of this struggle is Ahura Mazda, the great creator, the embodiment of truth, wisdom, and eternal light. In Zoroastrian mythology, he is not just a god, he is the absolute supreme being, the source of all that exists. He is not the Lord of heaven or earth, he is the Lord of reality itself. Zoroastrianism is one of the most ancient monotheistic religions in the world, and Ahura Mazda was at its center. Unlike the gods of other pantheons, he did not need rituals to maintain his power, did not depend on the worship of mortals. He existed as an unchanging truth, above the gods, above the elements, above the universe itself. He was not just a creator, but also a judge, a protector of order and wisdom, the one who gave people the opportunity to choose between good and evil. But even such a powerful being had an enemy, Angra Mainyu, Ahriman, the personification of darkness, destruction, and chaos. Ahura Mazda created the world pure and perfect, but his dark antipode brought lies, disease, death, and evil into it. From that moment on, a war began that would not end until the universe was purified. Ahura Mazda does not simply watch the battle. He gave humanity free will, the ability to choose its side. Unlike other religions, where gods manipulate the destinies of mortals, Zoroastrianism claims that every living being makes a conscious choice between light and darkness. And this choice determines not only its fate, but also the fate of the entire universe. But unlike the Scandinavian Odin, who knows about the inevitability of Ragnarok, Ahura Mazda sees the end of the war. He knows that on the last day, Saoshyant, the savior, will come into the world. Evil will be destroyed, darkness will disappear, and the universe will again become pure and perfect. There is no chaos, no eternal suffering. There is only light, to which the Creator himself leads humanity. Ahura Mazda is not a god who demands obedience. He is the architect of reality, the teacher, the protector of order, the one who gave people the opportunity to decide their own destiny. His power is not built on fear, but on the knowledge that good will ultimately prevail. And this is his true power. Since time immemorial, mankind has worshipped powerful gods, seeing them not just as rulers of the world, but as a reflection of the deepest forces of nature, fate, and existence itself. Some inspired warriors to fight, others gave people knowledge and wisdom, and some created the universe itself, defining its laws and the balance between good and evil. Despite the centuries, their images have not disappeared. Even today, the names of these gods sound in legends, books, films, and cultures of different peoples. They have become archetypes, symbols of power, sacrifice, wisdom, and struggle. Some of them knew the secrets of the universe, others were not afraid to go against fate, but they all left an indelible mark on the history of mankind. But which of them, in your opinion, was the most powerful? Can a god be stronger than Ahura Mazda, or wiser than Odin? Write in the comments which of these 7 gods impressed you the most, and what other legendary creatures would you like to see in new releases. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new releases, and click the bell. More secrets, myths, and mysteries of ancient civilizations await you ahead.